Good morning. Happy Thursday. So before I get started today, we are still on winter break over here. So there will be children in the background. And we're going to be okay with that, because one of the things that when I started doing lives and doing my podcast is I would stress myself out so much trying to make the perfect scenario, trying to even with showing up, talking in my stories, just everything around me needed to be perfect in order for me to, present the way that I wanted to. And what I realized in doing that is that it was such a loss for my audience, for my people, because there's no perfect scenario, and it's not fair for me to not show up in the messiness and the chaos that is running a business, that is raising kids, that is being present. And just wanted to start with that today. And I'm really excited because today we're talking about one of the greatest habits that I have built to create more success in my life, to drastically reduce the amount of stress that I feel, to help me from getting burnout, to help, especially in this time of year, right? We're in January 2023. We're at the top of a new year. People are motivated. People are feeling like this momentum. It's in the air. It is the energy, and it is very palpable. We feel it. And so with that, it's easier. It's easier in this time to go after what you want, to start to initiate changes that you want for your life, for your business, for your relationships in this time of year, because it's happened to be, not just be uncomfortable, but sit in discomfort. It requires new standards, new boundaries. There's a lot that has to change in order for something to change, in order for you to change. And so when we are thinking about goals and we're thinking about continuing to build the success that we want for our lives, what we have to remember is that success isn't about setting a goal or having an end point and just moving every day with that as the focus. Yes, it matters. Yes, you need to have that clear vision of where you're going, but you also need to know, number one, why you are going towards that. And number two, you need to have habits that actually contribute to that goal. So again, what people get lost in is they get lost in setting these goals at many steps depending on the goal. And so if we're not focusing on what those steps are, number one, and number two, who we need to be to actually execute on those steps, then that's where we fail. And so to build a successful business and a successful life, we know that it requires resilience. It requires commitment. It requires consistency in order to be able to be. So one of the tools that will allow you to become this person is the daily honest self inventory. And so the honest self-inventory is what I'm going to teach you, the tool today. But I wanted to preface that tool with you really understanding the importance of something. So in my journal, I ask myself, what steps am I taking today to get closer to a goal? And this makes it feel so much, and we don't even know how many people are reading it and not engaging with it. We don't know who's saving it, who's sending it to someone else, who's bookmarking it in their own brain to come back to. There's so much that we don't see. And so we have to create some sort of way for us to be able to see how we are committed and consistently showing up so that it makes us still want to show up. And so part of our success habits are going to be being able to take this daily honest self inventory. And when we do this, the reason why this is so important beyond it contributing to your success is that it will help you on that plan. Consistent growth of your company, of your business, will require a new level of you to lead that movement. It will require you enhancing your communication skills. It will require you being a better leader. People won't say because it sounds so simple, it seems silly, but the most important relationship that you can have in your life is you. Everything that you create in this world comes from one place, you. You actually aren't being the best leader that you can be if you aren't taking care of yourself first. Because there is only so much that you can give, quality-wise and quantity-wise, when nothing is getting poured in. And so this is like this practice is a foundational piece for you to start doing so that you can lead better and you can live better. I know that it's so easy to stay on the surface level. It's so easy to focus on the goals and the vision and the mission of the business. It's so easy to get lost in your day-to-day. Not add anything to your already full plate, but what they do is load your toolbox full of things that you can do in order to navigate stress and overwhelm and burnout better. Because these are things that come with the territory. These are things that have been normalized and accepted in running a business and running a household simultaneously, is that you are stretched thin. And so I want to teach you how you can navigate that better. So you can for you to create the vision and the life that you want for yourself and your business is the connection that you have with yourself. It is the relationship that you have with yourself. And this is also the first thing that gets pushed to the back burner when women are scaling, when women are growing their businesses. We keep promising ourselves that once we get to a certain point, once we hire a certain person, once our kids are older, we make up these stories in our head that then I can. I was speaking to a woman yesterday who said, I'm a mom first. And I said, I hear you. I hear you. I have 3 little kids and I see first, and everything else comes after that. She has been a mom and taking care of kids and putting kids before her for 22 years. And she told me, I only have story is so important, is it brings back to the forefront the most important relationship, your relationship with yourself. It teaches you how to actually speak what you're navigating through. It teaches you how that you can actually connect with your own desires. It teaches you how you can ask for help. It teaches you how to verbalize and have conversations that may feel too heavy, right? And this process, again, is easy and it's quick and it doesn't add any time to your day. So let's get into it. I'm going to tell you exactly how to walk through this process. It is not complicated. Again, easily implemented and will drastically change the way that you show up in your day-to-day. Excuse me. Okay. So the first thing that you're going to do is we're going to set up the environment for this practice. And what I mean by this is that when I set up processes, practices, create tools for myself or my clients, I consider their lives. And so for me, it is not realistic for me to have a bunch of tools and practices that require a lot of time and or energy, truthfully, because I have 3 little kids and I have businesses to run. So with that, the first part of this is going to be doing something called habit stacking. If you've read the book Atomic Habits, he talks about this in there. It is an incredible book. But habit stacking is essentially you are putting something that you want to start doing with something that you're already doing. So that way you don't have to create an entire new process. So how I want you to habit stack this process that I'm going to teach you is with something that you're doing already. Literally, it can be brushing your teeth. It can be putting your makeup on, doing whatever your morning routine is. It will take you less than 5 minutes. So anything that you do that is about 5 minutes every single day, you can do this then. I would prefer if you do it with a mirror. If it's not a necessity though. So that's the first part of this. Let's set the environment. What is something that you are doing every single day that you could stack this process with? Makeup, brushing your teeth, getting dressed, any of that kind of stuff. I prefer a mirror and in the morning. So how are you doing today? Really? And the reason why we add the really is because we're so conditioned. If anybody were to come up to and ask you, how are you doing? Oh, good. I'm fine. Good. Great. Fine. Oh, busy. That's another one. Busy isn't a feeling, by the way. But if you ask, how are you doing? Really? Really, how are you doing? That's how we're going to bypass your bullshit. That's how we're going to bring to the forefront the emotions that you're really feeling. So you're asking yourself the question, how are you doing? Really? And then you're going to answer for the answers. I love my kids, but also I like time away from them. And that's okay. I don't need to judge myself for that. So you're going to answer and you're going to just ask yourself, how are you doing? Really? I'm stressed. I'm overwhelmed. I feel like I'm doing it all. I feel like I don't have enough help. I feel like that I'm failing. I feel like that I'm winning. I feel like that I'm not celebrating myself enough. I feel very proud. I feel happy. I feel content. Whatever the words are that come out, you're just going to speak those. You are going to scale. You're going to name where you are. Where are you? If you're a 1 or if you're a 5, either way, we're naming the emotions and then we're naming kind of where we are in our range. Simply bringing awareness to what's happening around me. Okay? So once you know where you are on the scale, obviously our goal is always to be a 5. Is that realistic? Absolutely not. But when we aren't a 5, the cool thing about this is that when you recognize where you are on this scale, you recognize, okay, I'm not feeling my best. Then what our brains do is we start to create solutions. When we bring this to the forefront, when we take just these few minutes to recognize this is where I'm at and this is what I'm feeling. And then we say, okay, so I'm not feeling my best. I know that now. Because it's easy to suppress, it's easy to ignore, it's easy for us when we have a plate full of responsibilities happening, it's easy for us to just ignore what's happening and just push it down and say, I'll handle that later. I have too many responsibilities, I have too many things to do. So that's why we're starting our day with you, with saying, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm feeling, on a scale of 1 to 5, this is where I am. And if we aren't a 5, which is normal, then we can say, how do I want to feel? That's our next step. How do I want to feel? What do I want to feel? What do I need to feel that way? So you go from, these are my emotions, awareness of how I want to improve, if I want to improve, and then asking questions that are solution-focused questions. What do I need? I'm really stressed. I'm feeling like a 2 or a 3 on the scale. What do I need to feel like a 4 or a 5? I need less work. I need a break. Okay, how can we make that happen? I'm going to ask my partner to take the kids today. I'm going to delegate all of my work out to my team and I'm going to take a day off. But do you see how in just this process, that took me, a minute to walk through, right? So that's the whole focus of this, is bringing you from just moving and checking boxes throughout your day to taking a minute, stepping back, saying, where am I? How am I feeling? Okay, this is how I'm feeling. How do I want to feel? How do I create that feeling? How do I bring myself to that feeling? So that's the tool. And that's it. And once you do that, then it will be, your next step will be obviously implementing on whatever solution that you came up with. And these, again, don't have to be hard solutions. Maybe the solution is, I need to, stop working an hour earlier today. I have a meeting that I don't want to do today and I'm going to move it. So don't feel like that it needs to be these big, profound things, because just like I talked about in the beginning of this, your success habits are built on small things that you do every single day. And the better your relationship with yourself, the more that you know what emotions you're experiencing, the more you can actually start to, again, build that relationship with yourself, so that when you are leading, when you are parenting, no matter what it is, you're coming from a different place. You're coming from a place of, this is where I am. I'm having a hard day today. And so knowing that, I need to let my partner know so that I can have some more support than usual, because I don't feel like my best self. When you aren't feeling like your best self, you can't lead your best, which is why this is so important for women business owners, because we are the quickest to suppress what is going on when we are busy. So I want you to take just this few minutes for yourself every single day. I want you to ask yourself, how am I doing really? I want you to gauge yourself on that scale to 1 to 5. And then I want you to think, how do I move myself closer to that 5? And then start to create solutions from there. And then once you have some ideas, think about how you can implement. And if you run into resistance around this, if you're like, well, I need this, I need to take a day off, I need a vacation, I need, I need to not parent for a day. And you're like, that's impossible with my life. Then I would invite you to start thinking of solutions. What can I do? How can I have a piece of that? How could I get an hour of quiet time? How could I get 10 minutes of quiet time? I'm really trying to prime your brain to be more solution focused. And the way that we do that is all navigate conversations better. You are more in touch with your emotions. You can regulate your emotions better. You can lead better, and you just live better. But also there is a whole level of fulfillment that is created from this, because once again, when you go through this process, what you are doing is you're taking yourself through a process that allows you to voice your desires and fulfill them in some way. So it's almost like you are bringing to light something that you want or need each day, and then figuring out a way to give it to yourself. And how much do our inner child, we need that. We need that as women. We're so used to giving to everybody else. And so this is a way to where you can start to really think about, what do I need? What do I need? And how can I give that to myself? So I hope that this process will be as helpful to you as it has been to me. Once again, do not overcomplicate this. If you can commit to doing this for at least a couple of weeks every single morning, I promise you that you will have a new level of conversations. You will feel better. You will be less stressed. You will be happier. You will better show up for yourself, for your family, and for your business, because when you start with you, when you focus on you feeling good, everything else feels better. So thank you guys for being here, for listening. If you have not downloaded or received the 7-day stress solution yet, again, this is the first day that's in there. The 7-day stress solution is an incredible resource. It is 7 days. It is audios. Once again, I created this with so much intention for the busy working business owner, mom, wearing all the hats. And that is why it is 7 days, but each day is an audio that is 5 minutes or less. So you can listen while you're driving to work. You can listen while you are walking around your neighborhood. You can listen while you're folding laundry. You can listen while you are creating content. Whatever it is that you're doing, it is something that easily will go into your day on top of something else that is going to give you 7 very practical, very easy, very implementable tools that you can use for your life to reduce your stress, reduce your overwhelm, create more happiness, more joy. Because I think that's the theme. And a lot of the conversations that I'm having right now with clients that are inquiring about private mentorship, it's this quest for peace. it is this realization of wanting to have both, of wanting to continue the success of the company private mentorship. You can check out kelseykenrine.com/mentorship. All the qualifications to apply are there. I have one remaining spot